What's up, everyone? My name is K-Rad. I'm a rapper, producer, beer lover, and now I'm a podcaster. Podcasting about Northwest hip-hop and Northwest beer. Why? Well, I love them both, and frankly, you should too. So sit back and crack a cold one as a weekly guest and I talk about all things hip-hop and hops. This is Hoppy on Broadway. Welcome to the show. This is Hoppy on Broadway. I'm K-Rad, and this is episode 15. Got Macntaj on the show today. We're going to be talking to him real soon. The beer is the Red Hook Brewery. It's just from their hoppy 12-pack. Not the most exciting beer. I know it's not like a microbrewery from the Northwest, but we were kind of running out of time for getting a sponsor for this week's episode, so I kind of had to default to more of a generic Northwest beer. Still good, though. Shout out to Red Hook, man. I was drinking them ever since I had a fake back in the day. Just a reminder to everyone who's listening to please like the Facebook page. That is me. That's the host of Hoppy on Broadway, K-Rad, K-R-A-D. You'll find a link in the description. Please like it. Feel free to give my music a listen as well. I'll be competing in the Death by Stereo Beat Battle December 22nd. I think it's like the semifinalist round or something like that. Going to be awesome. But on a more important note and a more present note, tonight at Q Nightclub, this is what fucking day is it? It's November 17th. Okay, so tonight, Q Nightclub, the Omni release party with Macntaj and Levitate. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come on out and say hello. Let's get wasted. We're going to be hearing tracks throughout this fucking interview by Macntaj. The first of which is one of the first singles that Levitate and Macntaj put out together off the Omni EP release. It is called Pins and Needles, and it goes a little something like this. Seattle rapper Macntaj is on the show today. Macntaj started making a name for himself in the Northwest a few years ago with his hip-hop group Slightly Flagrant and through a number of solo records as well. He's worked with Bassnectar, Oski, and Creeps, to name a few, but most recently, his collaboration with Seattle DJ and producer Levitate has landed him in the spotlight for one of the hottest projects to drop this year. The EP is called Omni, and the release party is tonight at Q Nightclub. Welcome to the show, man. Yeah. Are you excited?
That was a hell of an intro.
I'm glad you appreciate it, man. But people got to know who I'm talking to, right?
Yeah, made me sound super cool. I like that.
As if you're not?
Yeah. Made me sound cooler.
Okay, good. I'm glad it could. Well, we're going to kick it off. Today we're drinking from Red Hook Brewery, which is a big brewery out of the Northwest, as you probably know. We're going to start with their Big Ballard Imperial IPA. Now, you were telling me before the show started that you're not a big beer drinker, but you do like to drink. What do you usually drink? Grey
Goose, Remy. Just drink like hard liquor. Nothing cheap. You know, it has to be. Can't taste like rubbing alcohol.
Sure.
I'm not the pickiest drinker.
You're not a bottom shelfer, though.
I'm not a bottom shelfer. I'm not. Mm-mm.
So your go-to at, like, let's say the supermarket would be?
Probably some Goose, or probably like some Remy Martin. Mm-hmm. Something.
What's Remy Martin?
It's like comes in a black bottle. Is it 1738? It's like Fetty Wap's whole thing.
Is it a vodka?
No, it's rum, I think, or rum or whiskey. It's dark. Dark is just dark to me. Okay. Rum, whiskey, same shit. Yeah.
Still goes down the same way. Well, hey, the same way. Cheers. We're gonna give this a taste. It's the Big Ballard. Okay.
All right,
cheers, man.
You don't like me, and I don't like you. But let's just do this, and I can get back to killing
it's
you
dark.
with beer.
Ooh,
it's malty. It's heavy.
Ooh, that is heavy.
That's an 8.6. You're not looking too hot on it.
Yeah, I got my Thiz face over here, man. I'm not really a fan of that one.
Not a fan? All right, well, that's okay, man.
Maybe that's for the more seasoned beer drinker, but which is not me.
Hey, man, to each their own. We all got our own palates. Yeah. I'm a fan, though. I like this one. I do kind of like the darker. It's still like definitely an IPA, but it's darker. It kind of glosses across the tongue. The aftertaste is, there's hints of an aftertaste. I just say it's not big. You don't have to drink it, though, if you don't want to.
I mean, I'm gonna finish everything you put here because I'm an adult.
Oh, I should have just poured you a full glass.
I wouldn't have said that if you did. This is enough for me to
to get there. Well, hey, this is the Big Ballot IPA, like I told you. And where did you drive up from, though? What part of Seattle?
I drove up from. I was on Aurora, so
Is that where you live?
No, I don't live there. Jordan lives there.
Oh, okay, rad.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, we're here today. I'm glad you guys made the trip up. I kind of want to talk about something that all your fans, I'm sure they want to know, because your Facebook page says you were born in 1923, meaning you're 94 years old.
I am. Give or take.
How do you look so young?
Well, the secret's all in the sauce. You know, like when you were raised and marinated in the sauce frequently as a youngster, as I was, the fountain of youth seems to just follow you.
Yeah.
So that's how I keep my good looks, my good and seductive looks.
I got to give it to you, man. It's really hard to become, a named rapper at, let alone the age of 30, and you're over 90.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
It's not easy, man. You know, I make the difficult look easy, though. So
yeah. Were you born in Seattle?
I was born in Seattle.
Okay.
Yes, I was born in Seattle.
And you've been here your whole life?
No, I have not.
Tell me about where you've been.
So as a kid, I've lived in Philadelphia.
Okay.
My whole family's from Philadelphia. I've lived in Biloxi, Mississippi for a couple years as well. I went to school out there a little bit. And I also lived in Sacramento, California.
And throughout all these times that you were moving around, have you always been rapping? Have you always been doing music?
So I started doing music when I was 13. A friend of mine showed me, so we didn't have like Pro Tools and all that back then, or maybe in the big studios, or if you had a lot of money or resources back then, you did.
Yeah.
But I had like an analog BR-800 8-track player, to where it was like more or less a machine that you can track up 8 different vocal tracks in. And you know, when everybody else was playing the Dreamcast and the Nintendo and all that stuff, I was doing music, doing a song a day.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So was it rap back then?
It was rap. Yeah, it was always rap. Yep.
Did you make beats too at any point?
I tried.
Yeah,
I tried. They never turned out good. I had the little Fruity Loops thing. And it wasn't really my flavor.
And from there, you've collaborated with so many different producers, so I guess you don't really need to be a beat maker.
Yeah, I let them do all the hard work. I'll just talk.
I gotta ask, one of the most prominent figures you've worked with or been featured on their tracks is Bassnectar.
Yeah.
How did that collaboration come to be? How did you meet him, or did he reach out to you?
Yeah, mutual friend. It's a funny story. So I had a flight to San Diego that I was catching the next morning to go to a meditation retreat. I was gonna chill out for like a couple weeks or whatever. And I got a call that from a mutual friend, Connor, Levitate. He was like, yo, me and Lauren. I was like, who's Lauren? He's like, Bassnectar. I'm like, oh shit. Me and Lauren are working on this tune or whatever. And, we need a vocalist on it. So would you be interested in doing it? And I'm like, yeah, like, of course, it's Bassnectar. Obviously, I'll get on this. He was like, okay, he's going to call you soon. So he called me in a couple hours and worked through it, and then kind of established my own relationship with him from there, and it's kind of where it all started.
Yeah, and then let's backtrack then. How do you know Levitate?
I met Levitate, I met him through Creeps. Shout out to Creeps.
The homie, he was the second episode of this podcast.
Oh, was he?
I think so.
Nice.
He mastered my last album, so.
Oh, nice. I love Creeps.
He's a great guy.
Creeps is cool. But no, Creeps I needed Creeps to DJ a gig for Slightly Flagrant, and he couldn't make it, but he was like, yo, I got somebody that can. Levitate.
Bada boom.
That's where I met Levitate. Didn't even know what Levitate did back then, except for DJ. I didn't have any clue he was as talented as I know he is today. But so it was funny how that relationship kind of transgressed over the years.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. That's how you met Levitate, because through Transitive Property, that's kind of how I got to find you out, because I had worked with Creeps before. He was on my show, and he had also mastered my last album. And I asked him, do you have a drummer? I'm trying to get a drummer for some live gigs when I do my shows. And he pointed me to Chris Williams, who is the drummer for Grand Rapids, who Levitate, I guess, DJ'd for a couple times. And then that happened. Chris Williams showed me Levitate. Levitate obviously had you featured multiple times, and here we are today.
Yeah.
What do you think is the highlight of the last year for you? It's been a big year for MACNTAJJJJ.
Yeah. I think the highlight was probably touring with Hydraulics. I toured with Oski too, and that was tons of fun. But me and Hydraulics, we had more dates together, and we were kind of around each other a bit more. Just the people that really the people I met when I was with both of them, like in terms of producers and stuff like that. I mean, you go to LA, in the electronic scene, it's like a high school. Almost everyone's so close and knows each other, and like everyone's business is kind of just out there, right? Because it's such a tight-knit community that when you get bought in by one of those guys, like Hydraulics, Oski, that have so much respect in the industry, it's a really seamless process in terms of making connections with people and getting to work with other producers and stuff like that. So I probably say it was just the opportunity I had when I was in LA with those guys, and that's where I met Brills. And me and Brills have a tune dropping on the 20th, if I didn't mention it, and a bunch of other cats that I'm still working with now.
That's interesting because you're saying it's tight-knit community as in the kind of electronic scene down there, or in general?
Now, mind you, I'm new to electronic music. The first time I ever even really listened or was even interested in electronic music was probably the first Levitate song I got on, which wasn't too long ago. So my perception of things, how I interpret things, me walking into, a room for the first time and kind of just hearing people talk and seeing them interact, is that it's the EDM community specifically the electronic community is very tight knit. Mm-hmm. Especially, I mean, there's like a little bubble, once you get in like this bubble where you got the Abstracts and the Josh Pans and Hydraulics and Oskies and the Jack Daniels and all those cats right there. I probably missed a few. It's like they're so cool and close with each other that they make it really easy to interact with everybody. Yeah.
Do you think you're ever going to be pigeonholed into just being featured on electronic tracks, or are you hoping to just do your own thing all the time?
No, I don't really view it as pigeonholed. If anything, I look at it to where like I have everything at my fingertips because, I was bred in hip hop. I was born off, or raised off of, Cameron and McNtaj and Boosie and those cats. And I have a lot of respect for the culture. But it's just like me doing this electronic music. The vibes are so different and the scene's so different. It was more or less like a fresh look that I needed.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'll be pigeonholed then. I think it's just an opportunity I'm taking advantage of. And I mean, you could say the same if I was just doing hip hop beats that I can be I'd be pigeonholed into that culture.
Well, I think it's good that you're kind of diversifying yourself, especially, I know you're not doing it for the marketing perspective, but it's not hard to believe that electronic music, EDM, has become so much bigger over the last 5-10 years.
Oh, yeah.
And it's starting to become kind of like hip hop was maybe 15-20 years ago.
Exactly.
And it's definitely becoming a kind of it's still budding kind of genre that everyone's listening to, from 30 and below.
Yeah, well, I think that this isn't any knock to the culture, to hip hop or anything like that, because I love hip hop. I was rooted in hip hop, but I really feel like the way the industry's trending, it can, replace hip hop is the number one listened to genre in the world in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
I really believe so. Just because you can reach such a broader audience with that, people come to Paradiso or, Trap Fest or any electronic festival, they come to dance and have a good time. You know, that's it. Get high, have a good time, dance. When you're coming to a hip hop festival, typically you're coming to see Rick Ross or you're coming to see YG. You're not really excited about anyone else on the bill. But electronic festivals, man, it's just a different vibe.
It is. I've been to. I wouldn't say I haven't really been to any raves, but I've been to different electronic concerts, whether they be at festivals or, I'm really into like funk EDM. Someone like Grizz or Big Gigantic, if you heard them.
Oh, yeah, I know both of them.
Yeah, and the vibe is totally different. It's not as polarized because up there they're not just producers, they're DJs.
Exactly.
And they're playing things that everyone can get into, Bob. Exactly. They don't have to know the music, and that's something different in hip hop. When you're playing to a crowd that doesn't really know you, it's kind of hard to follow along because you're like, I don't know these lyrics. I can barely understand him under the subwoofers.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a different vibe at those concerts. I would agree. But I want to point out also that you mentioned Creeps earlier, and I love that song, the hip hop song Light Waves, before the remix you did with Levitate.
Yeah.
That beat is so fat. Have you worked with Creeps much in the past?
Yeah, I probably work with Creeps more than I do any other producer.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Do you record with them?
No, I record by myself.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting to me. What kind of gear are you using?
I got Pro Tools 10. I have a Neumann TLM microphone.
Okay, so you got the good stuff.
Yeah, I got some cool stuff. I got a little isolated corner in my room with soundproof and stuff like that I track up on. So.
That is pretty crazy considering the numbers you've put up over the last year. I really thought you might be going to a studio because it sounds great.
Well, I don't mix it.
Sure, but it's still the recording nonetheless. Yeah. I guess you hear about when Drake started out, he was recording in like hotel closets.
I recorded in hotels too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get it how you live, and like the Bassnectar song, both the Bassnectar records, that's in my room, Mm-hmm. Like the ones I have with Hydraulics, Oski, those are in my room. I have features I'm working on for a lot of other cats right now. They're all in my room. where it started. So
yeah. Well, last question before we wrap up this segment. What would you say is your favorite non-electronic, like just pure hip hop track that you've done?
Deception. Probably. Yeah.
Always do right, then almost got life. I'm fucking confused. My gun and my pride, that's all that I got. Ain't letting shit ride, that's how I was taught. So if I'ma die, don't be from my block. Young nigga 16 with some work in his sock. If they kill me, I die like a man. When I'm gone, I'ma live like a legend. And the little homies banging after me, won't know my story. I will be remembered, so pour out some liquor. Something expensive. Stop by the house, did the check on my mom. Make sure she good. Tell her you love her. Give her some money and take out the garbage. Load a clip for a nigga that shot me. Let him know this here for Quabi. Send his neighborhood a message. The things we do for acceptance.
You take your my dreams. Everybody feels so lost, wondering how I
All right, so in the second part of the podcast, we are switching gears on the beers. We got the Bi-Coastal IPA, still an IPA. However, it's not going to be as dark, I believe, as the last one. Definitely not as heavy. It's a little bit lighter. The last one was like 8.8%. This one is 7.1. So you can already see while I'm pouring it, it's a bit more pale. So I hope you like this one instead, Macntaj.
Hope I do too, man. That last one was brutal.
Well, I'm glad that they're not actually sponsoring this episode, or else we'd be giving some bad press. Cheers.
Why does beer taste so good?
Because you've just had 7.
Definitely not as dark. First reaction.
You know, it's better than the last one.
All right.
It's not as heavy. I mean, I don't know what other comment to make about it. I don't know. It looks like
You ain't got to make a comment. I'm going to take another taste, see if I can say some more.
Okay.
It's a flavorful IPA. It's got that classic IPA kind of taste to it, the kind of bitterness, the hoppiness, but it's a little bit more full body, I would say. Not as dark. That's my kind of perception on it, but I'm glad you like it more than the last one. Yeah. Now, we're going to start off this next section. Instead of being an interview, we're going to play a bit of a game.
Okay.
The game is called Sneakers. I'm going to give you a clearly fictional situation you've been thrown into. You're going to put yourself in those shoes and describe how you'd react to each of these situations.
Let's go.
We'll start off with something that could potentially happen and gradually get more ridiculous. Here's the first one.
See, now I know why you give us beer, just so we could just
loosen up, baby.
We gotta loosen. Yeah. The third round's gonna get a little more intense. So what's the question?
All right. Let's say you're at tonight's release party for Omni, the new Levitate and MACNTAJJJJ EP at Q Nightclub. Between one of the songs you're performing, the audience starts chanting, "Chug a beer, chug a beer." Naturally, you're not going to let the people down, and you ask for a beer from backstage. Knowing any beer on the planet is backstage, what do you choose?
So I can choose any beer?
Any beer.
I'm going to choose one that doesn't look as dark through the bottle. I don't know. I don't know. Like if I had any alcohol, then, okay, look, I'm going to choose a Bud Light.
A Bud Light, something easy.
Because everyone makes fun of that for tasting like water. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be the easiest for me to drink. It is going to be
the easiest, yeah.
So I'm going to make a strategical decision to choose a Bud Light.
I mean, if it was me up there, I'd definitely choose a light beer as well.
Yeah.
Just so I'm not too heavy when I'm performing the next song, yada, yada, yada. I respect that. Now, let's just change it up. This isn't a question, because you drink Hard A more. Okay. If they're like, take a shot, what would you choose?
I don't even have to chant that. I'm just doing it.
You're just doing it. You're already up there.
I'm taking shots. I'm on stage probably drinking just as much as I'm rapping. I got my cup by the DJ booth. So
and your drinking choice is going to be some Grey Goose?
Yeah, some Sprite and Grey or some Cherry Grey, something like that. Something with goose in it, man.
Okay. You're at a party and you've been challenged to a game of beer pong by your rivals, be that whoever. It could be in music or your job, or I don't care. Your partner has to be one producer you've worked with over the last 2 years. Who do you choose and why? Put yourself in those shoes.
The producer I choose?
Yes.
Okay, I'm choosing Hydraulics for this one.
Why?
Because he's fun to drink with.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll talk a bunch of shit and just kick ass and, I don't know, just be fun as hell. Creeps will probably be my second choice. I feel like Hydraulics may be a little better at beer pong than Creeps, though. So
okay,
go with Hydraulics for this one.
All right. Third and final scenario. Let's say you've been contacted by Apple Computers to be a flagship artist on their new streaming platform. Not only will you have full creative reign on the album you create under their label, but you'll receive a $500,000 as a signing bonus. The caveat? You must change your name to Macntaj, spelled identically to their computer brand name. Do you take the deal?
No.
Yeah, I didn't
In
think
fact,
so.
I respond to the email with a dick pic. I just escalated immediately. Like, how dare you?
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. I can imagine that'd be it. I don't think anyone would actually want to change their name to a literal brand.
Right,
Because
right.
that is the definition of more than selling out.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, speaking of the new album, new music, obviously the big thing that we want to talk about today is the EP, Omni, with you and Levitate.
That's right.
I want to know all about it.
Okay.
I want to know about when did it start when you guys decided instead of just collaborating, you were like, let's make a full project.
Well, we had kind of tinkered with the idea a little bit, but it was never really the right time. And finally, he hit me up and was just like, yo, I got this idea for this electronic trap sounding project. I'd love to have you be a part of it. And just, kind of just created it from there.
Did he send you a bulk of beats and you're like, choose the ones you want?
No,
or?
that's not how Lev works. Levitate is, one thing I can say about him is he's really a visionary and he's really sure on, before he starts anything, he knows how it should sound, how he wants it to sound, and how he's going to make it sound like that. He knows that. I don't really think he ever goes into anything without a plan. So he was very sure on the production he wanted me to get on and kind of just told me to do my thing on it. And me and Lev, we have a very, very unique working relationship in the sense that typically when I work with producers, I record a take and I send it to them and then they have feedback on it. They'll choose it, the cadences they like, or they'll choose the voice inflections or the context of the record, and then I'll kind of cater to what they want. But with Levitate, it's like he sends me a beat, I send him the verse, that's it. That's the verse we're using. He'll send me the next beat, spit a verse, that's it. That's the verse we're using, every time. So
is he editing at all, or are you editing it because you do it in your room?
editing what?
The verses, or the ad libs or anything?
No, he's not. So we're okay. So for the Pins and Needles record, he sent it to me and said, it's a funny story actually. So he sends me and he's like, yo, this is the next record for the project, but I'm thinking we're gonna put some distortion or some type of sick ass vocal effect on your vocal. I'm like, okay, cool. So I lay the verse down or whatever, I sent it to him, and I tried my ass off on that verse because that beat was just so open, right? So I really tried, a lot of cadences, a lot of metaphors, punchlines, I put my heart and soul into it. And so I send him the record, he's like, bro, it's perfect. I'm like, tight. So I'm slapping the little reference track the whole week, just listening to it, and I'm like, this is gonna be sick. I'm like, Lev, man, send me that when you're done. I want to hear that. So he sends it to me and I can't hear a word I am saying. I'm like, dog, what is this? He's like, bro, trust me, dog. And then he explained to me the reason why we did that and the reason why it works. And the idea grew on me, and I was so impressed by how sure he was and how he had even birthed that concept in his head to do that. And it was just a no-brainer to run with that idea.
Yeah, and speaking of Pins and Needles, the music video, wow. That's
You like it?
It's fucking crazy, dude. It takes you on a fucking ride. That was the first song I heard of yours because of my drummer who showed it to me one day after practice. He's like, you gotta check this shit out, man. It's fucking crazy.
That's tight.
Yeah, and that shit is hard. It made me scared.
Yeah, that's tight, man.
But yeah, I mean, he does do a lot of vocals on your effects, but the vocals aren't just on your Levitate tracks. And we'll get back to the EP in a second, but I wanted to ask, because you have different intonations, you have different voices and different effects throughout your records. Is that usually the mix engineers thing, or are you like, hey, in this verse I want it to be pitched down, or what?
So yeah, if it's my solo stuff, it's really, if a lot of times it'll be me making those calls. If it's stuff I'm doing for other producers, then typically it's them making the call. So, if I send it to Levitate, he'll kind of do his thing and I'll give him feedback on what I like, don't like, and we'll go from there, and same with really anyone else I'm working with.
Yeah. So on this new EP, something like the Light Waves remix, there was definitely a lot of vocal treatment on that track. Is how many rounds of revisions are you going back and forth on? Or is he just trust me like he was on Pins and Needles?
So after I sent him everything, and so how many revisions from the time I sent him everything?
Let's just talk about your workflow. Yeah, you can interpret the question.
On that one, it was 3 revisions.
Okay.
It was 2 rounds of revisions. The third round, it was done.
Yeah.
So it wasn't bad.
Do you guys have plans to take this album on the road at all?
There are things in the works. We're talking to some people, and we'll kind of see what opportunities present themselves.
Yeah. So tell me about the show tonight, then.
Okay.
What can we expect?
You can expect the unexpected. I'll give the cliche answer right there. Right. I mean, you can expect to come out and have fun. We're doing a lot of things that aren't being done right now. We're doing a lot of things now that probably won't even turn over into pop culture, or turn into something that the masses are consuming for the next, couple years, But we take pride in that, and we made the project, knowing that we were kind of doing something and onto something that a lot of people weren't really paying attention to yet. So, you can expect a new experience. You can expect, I know Levitate's a hell of a performer. I know I like to rock out when I'm on stage. So, it's just all about entertaining and making sure that everyone in the building has, one of the best nights of their life.
Have you been at Q before?
Oh yeah, I performed at Q before.
Yeah, it's a cool nightclub. I've only been there once before, heart of Capitol Hill. Everyone's listening, if you haven't found out now, on your Facebook page, just type in Omni Q Nightclub. It'll come up. There should be ticket links right there if you want to come out tonight. Come out to see Macntaj tear it up, along with Levitate and some other openers. Yeah, speaking of local cats, a couple years ago in Slightly Flagrant, your song Bar of Soap was with Nacho Picasso. I remember seeing that music video before I even knew who you were. Way back in the day. It's hilarious with him as the little baby and everything. Yeah. Any new collaborations in the work with Seattle rappers?
Yeah, I got some stuff with Nacho. I got a couple records with him that we're working on. Is there anyone else in Seattle? Yeah, shout out to Nick Weaver. I got some stuff with Nick Weaver. Got some stuff with King Lee's. Not really anyone else. I don't know.
It's a work in progress.
Work in progress.
Things are coming along.
Things are coming along. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Boss up, say most bitches is stripping, cause money is the antidote. I get her wet and I make a scene when she dropping it. Boss up, say most bitches is hoeing, cause money is the antidote. I get her wet and I make a scene when she dropping it. Boss up.
Oh, baby bounce like a kickball. Too much coke made my dick small. Damn. Normally I got big balls, and I tag that ass like a brick wall. Tag that ass like a baby calf. I'm in her ribs like
the final beer of today's episode is a staple from Red Hook. It's their classic Long Hammer IPA.
Classic.
Nothing too special. If you've had some Red Hook before, you probably had this one, but I thought I'd throw it in there just for a little reference point for our guest.
What makes it classic, if you don't mind me asking?
It's one of their flagship. Like it's year round. It's not a limited release. Like these two are. These are both relatively new. The Bicoastal and the Ballard IPA. So this one is kind of like the one you'll find at the supermarket in the 6-pack wherever you go in the Northwest.
Okay, bottoms up.
Last one, man. Cheers.
Well, beer, we've had some great times.
You know what? That is the most tolerable out of the three.
Okay,
I will say
it's the lightest.
Yes.
It's not the it's the lightest in all factors. Like it's not as bitter. It's less alcoholic.
I could probably finish a whole one of those. I'm not now.
Yeah.
But I could probably.
Okay.
Most likely.
Well, if I see you after the show tonight, I won't buy you an IPA.
Buy me some Grey Goose stuff.
Okay. I'll do that, man. As long as you haven't drank too much on stage already, and we'll get it cracking. But I forgot to ask. Your favorite beer out of the three, was it this one?
It is this one by far. It is the Red Hook IPA Dry Hopped India LL Long Hammer IPA. I read every word on the label.
You want to keep going? There's more on the side.
I want to stop.
Okay,
no, I'm done.
We're gonna we're gonna go into the next game, and the game's called Flip the Record. It's a simple game aimed to give our listeners a glimpse on your thoughts and opinions on not only just hip hop and beer, but really anything that might be fun to know. I'll give you two options. You just name the option you prefer.
Sounds good.
PBR or Rainier?
Rainier.
Seattle. Yeah. I-5 or 99?
I-5. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. That traffic. I can't do it. I can't do it, dude. 99's bad too, but...
Yeah, I'm not on 99 that often.
Okay. How about this one? Your house being infested by thousands and thousands of bees.
Oh, God.
Or about a dozen clowns.
Oh, a dozen clowns. Easy. I'll just beat them up and they could leave.
Okay. I didn't know if you're one of those people who are just terrified. I mean, it'd be pretty scary to walk into your house, you unlock the door and just like...
Yeah, but it's easy. It's easier to... Okay, so I can see all the clowns. I'll know when all the clowns are out of my house, right? Bees, you're never going to get every bee.
You could hire an exterminator.
Yeah, but you can just have a couple of the homies come over and just beat up the clown.
I guess that's true, but I'm thinking more like if a bee's infested your place, that'd be more of probably a natural occurrence or something. But if the clowns did it, there's something else on the plate that's staring you in the face. The psychological.
But if I have 2,000 bees in my home, that feels like an omen. Well, I mean, I guess
that's a good point too.
I guess 12 clowns. I mean, it's not an omen, but it's like how. Like, why?
Exactly.
Why are you here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll leave it at that. A hot dog on a hamburger bun or a hamburger on a hot dog bun.
A hot dog on a hamburger bun or a hamburger on a hot dog bun. You know, I'm gonna go with these are some good questions. These are interesting questions. I like stuff like this. I would go with a hot dog on a hamburger bun because beef and pork don't really sit well with my stomach. So I figure less meat, more bread, I have a higher chance of not throwing up when I'm done eating it.
So every time I play this game on the podcast, I always put in this or that. And you were the first person to say hot dog on a hamburger bun.
Really?
Because everyone likes beef.
Yeah, I'm not a big beef guy. Steak is cool. I'll have a steak every now and then, but I'm not a big beef guy.
All right. It's just a little taste thing. Speaking of burgers, Dick's Burgers or Big Mario's Pizza?
Oh, Big Mario's Pizza.
Is that because you don't like beef?
Okay, so Jordan likes Dick's.
Out of context, I love it.
The burgers. He likes Dick's Burgers. I'm sorry, Jordan. I didn't mean to do you like that. He tries to go there all the time, but I'm like I'm a pizza guy. We're actually going to Rocco's after this. So he's never had Rocco's before, so I'm gonna put him on the Rocco's.
I haven't either, actually.
You know, Rocco's is really good. Steven Severin, he does Showbox and Numos and all that. He has some good things to say about Rocco's, so I'm gonna peep him again, just for him.
Yeah. Okay, then another Seattle staple I should have to try out.
Yeah, man, try it out.
Rocco's.
Rocco's with 2 C's.
2 C's. Okay. Whiskey or tequila?
Whiskey.
All right. Hashtags or emojis?
For what? Am I tweeting or am I like, what am I doing? Am I on?
You're talking. No, it's your call on what you want to take it as.
Probably emojis. I feel like hashtags are burnt.
Yeah. A little old, a little boring.
I mean, they serve their purpose. I mean, they do what they're supposed to do, but I don't know.
Okay.
I like emojis.
New York or LA?
LA.
Why?
You know, I would say LA just because it feels like in New York, it feels like too much is happening. Like it's just everything's always at 100. You walk out down the street, everything's at 100. You want to have a glass of coffee or a glass of coffee. You want to have a cup of coffee at 7 a.m. at the Starbucks down the street. Everything's just at 100. They don't know how to just turn down and just sit down and be quiet. I love New York, but it's a lot. It's too much for me. I'm not used to that. LA, it can be overwhelming at times too, but more times than not, I mean, you got, beautiful beaches there, tons of producers. The industry's really prevalent there. Like, I'm gonna have to go with LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus the nice sunshine. Yeah. I gotta say New York. I love the hustle and bustle, but that's probably because I'm a very impatient person.
Yeah.
So people aren't my speed in New York.
Yeah, I'm a turtle, man. I'm slow. I move slow, man. People pass me up in New York.
Yeah.
So I like LA.
You want to take it down a notch.
Just turn it down a notch,
All right. With Thanksgiving coming up, I gotta ask, turkey or stuffing?
Ooh, both.
No. You gotta choose.
Okay. Is it homemade stuffing? Or is it the box stuff?
Nah, it's homemade.
I'll take stuffing.
Yeah. I'm with you there. I love stuffing.
I'm telling you, listen, here's what I do every Thanksgiving. I'm about to do it in like a week, matter of fact. What you do is you take the stuffing, mix in the mashed potatoes, mix in macaroni and cheese, and put gravy over all of it.
Mac and cheese.
Oh, God.
Oof. That sounds good.
Yeah, homemade, everything. My mom hooks it up every year.
Man, that just sounds just like a ball of cheesy, bready, carby goodness.
Nah, it's life. It's just life right there, man. I don't eat that anytime but one time a year, but you just it's something to look forward to,
Absolutely.
It's good stuff, man.
Some home cooking.
Oh, yeah.
All right, money or fame?
Money. I don't care about being famous.
Yeah.
I just want to put my nieces and nephews through college if they want to go to college, Take care of my people. Take care of my family. I don't care about fame.
Final question, and this might determine who you are for the rest of your life.
Oh, God.
Toilet paper over or under?
Over or under? What you mean? Like how I pull it off the roll?
Like how you fill it when you pull it off, or like when you put it on?
I've never even paid attention to that.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Shit, over. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the smart one.
I threw that out there. Okay. It could have easily just said under.
Okay. Congratulations, you've won the game.
Yeah.
One thing I forgot to ask you last section is new projects you're working on. What's on the horizon for MACNTAJJJJ?
Okay, so I'm working on 2 different EPs right now that I will be putting out through 2 different entities. I have a really cool record featuring my brother Tane Jr. and the homie Riff Raff that we finished that we will hopefully drop sometime in the next few months. But I have a slate of other releases too. I got one with my boy Troy Ave that is probably going to release in the next few weeks. I know Levitate has an EP out on. You said EPs, but I'm just saying everything because why not?
Yeah, anything.
But I know Levitate has an EP coming out with Division. Noisy is a label, and we have a record on there together. I have more stuff with Oski. I'm always working with Lauren or Bassnectar. I got a few. I'm probably sitting on right now maybe 20 to 25 records that should drop in the next hopefully 6 months. So
that is more than a handful, my man.
Oh yeah.
What's the next record? If you know, what do you think is the next record going to be released?
Probably it's a record called Rah Rah, with featuring Troy Ave. That's probably gonna. Well, no, I'm sorry. I have a tune with Brills that's gonna drop in the next few days. After that, it'll probably be the record I have with Troy Ave that drops sooner than later.
Okay. Very cool, my man. Well, I'm excited. Everyone keep your ears to the ground for what MACNTAJJJJ is coming out with. At this point in the interview, I always like to transition and talk about kind of what this podcast is all about, which is Northwest hip-hop, Northwest music. Tell me about what you like, what you don't like about the Seattle scene.
So let's start off with what I like. I really like the talent. I really enjoy how everyone in Seattle, I feel like, is some type of artist. I feel like art's beautiful. It's an outlet for everyone to express themselves. It makes living life easier when you have a passion, right? So I respect everyone's artistry a lot, and really enjoy listening to new people and new sounds and new ideas and stuff like that. Something, an area of opportunity I feel like for a lot of cats out here is just probably being more brand conscious. Mm-hmm. Just be more conscious of your brand,
You mean as far as marketing goes? Like being...
In terms of everything, in terms of like, what do you sound like? What is your sound? Who are you, right? Like, because, it's all about your brand. It's not about the music. It's about your brand, man, right? The music is a tool to promote your brand. It's not about the music, right? Case in point, how relevant is, whether we want to admit it or not, Bow Wow's relevant. Snoop Dogg's relevant. There's a lot of cats that are relevant just because, of their brands and of, their stance on some type of social media thing, or, some funny video they'll upload, or like even Plies. Plies is a good example. He does a lot of like Instagram videos and stuff like that. But I guess more or less just people being more brand conscious, people putting more into their brand and trying to express their art through their brand as opposed to just one lane being music.
Now clear this up for me, because maybe I have this confused, but you're not saying that when you are making music, you should make it directly linked to your brand. Are you saying that your brand defines what music you should be making?
I'm saying that just because you can make every type of music on the planet, just because you're the most talented rapper and can do 1,000 different things, doesn't mean you should. I'm saying that you need to be more conscious of your brand, what your brand tells people, and create music and content to support that.
What makes you, why is a brand so important from your perspective?
Because it's everything. Like, the brand is everything. Like when you think of Apple, when you think of, Spotify.
But those are businesses. You're saying if you're you're an artist to be in the business for, that's when you should be paying attention. Not like some dude who's just doing it for fun in his basement. You're thinking about the brand for the sake of promoting and getting it out to fans.
All right, what was your question?
My question is, do you think it's always necessary to make music that's connected to your brand?
Not necessarily. I mean, are you a hobbyist, or is this something you want to be your career?
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah. If you're a hobbyist, then I mean, by all means, make what you want, have fun. Go ape shit every time you go into the lab. Relieve all that stress in your life. But if you want to create, a sustainable brand, and you want to create something that is monetizable and something that people are going to remember, you have to be conscious of what your brand is telling people. You have to be conscious of, what type of people are most likely to engage with your brand, or who your brand relates to. Like, there's a whole different side to this. Like, I'll see rappers posting at 2 a.m. I'm working. We're working. We're in the lab working, smoking weed, drinking, working. That's not working, man. It's not working.
Oh, man, I know it.
There's a whole other side. So I guess to sum it all up, because we can go on for an hour about this. I guess to sum it all up, really what I would like to see more of is people paying more attention to the business aspect of it. People, being more conscious of their brand and kind of putting themselves in more favorable situations in terms of who they're reaching and who they're marketing to.
So approaching it from a way, so you are saying like, if you want to reach out, you want to make it your career.
Just take it more seriously. It's not just about making music. Take it more seriously. Do some research. If you're really passionate about it and, you know, you want to make it a career, then you got to take the steps to make that happen. And, you know, 98% of what it takes to be successful does not happen in front of a microphone and an interface.
Absolutely. I agree with you there. And I'm not even someone who's, you know, gotten out of his bubble yet, but, you know, I'm going to ask for me and also anyone who's listening who is an aspiring, not even just aspiring, but someone who's trying to make it as a professional rapper. What, or at least in your case, what were the steps that you took to actually define your brand, right? You were making music. At what point did you decide this is who I am? And how did you decide that?
You have to make sure that every piece, this is why it's so important that your brand transcends the music, because your brand needs to be a representation of you, you know, from the pictures you post on Instagram to the way you talk, to the way you conduct interviews, to the way, you know, going back to music, the way you know, do an ad lib, or the content, or the context of your verses. What are they about? What are they saying?
Sure.
You know, every artist has a story. Are you telling your story? Tell your story, right? You know, so, what was your question? I'm sorry.
No, that actually pretty much answered it.
Okay.
You were pretty saying, from what I'm hearing, how I interpret it, you're saying is the brand is the foundation of who you are.
Right.
And you need to be true to who you are so your music follows that and vice versa.
Right. Perfect. I mean, yeah, and then, you know, like I said, you know, like there's I know artists right now that will get paid to come out and rock a crowd, and the crowd won't know any of their songs, but they just have, like, for example, I'll give you a perfect example. Do you know Fatboy SSE?
No.
Okay, well, look up Fatboy SSE. A lot of your viewers probably know who he is. He's a cat from New York. He just does obnoxious ass shit. He does, you don't know him. Do you know Boom Gang? Mm-mm. Okay, I'll stick with Fatboy SSE. So he'll walk up to somebody or whatever and like smack something out their hand or some shit, just something obnoxious, right? But he gets a lot of views. He's always in front of important people. Has a lot of eyes on him. He raps. People didn't know that, but like you can book Fatboy SSE to come out and do a show for a few grand, and he'll do the show, and people will show up because he's important. But you don't know not one song by his. You know, like I couldn't tell you a Fatboy SSE song. I haven't heard one song by him ever. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going for the music. I'm going for Fatboy SSE.
Yeah.
Right.
So answer me this then: how do you define your brand?
It defines itself. I mean, from everything I put out. You know, if one of the most beautiful things about my brand, I feel like, and this is just me being true to myself, is, you know, I never answer questions from my consumer. I don't answer questions from my fans. I leave things open to interpretation, right?
That's fair.
I like to say something. I like to be able to make a song, be able to make a record about something that's true to myself, you know, or where I'm not compromising any of my beliefs or values, but also, you know, I want that, and I make that record with the intent to make it be relatable to someone that maybe didn't have the same experiences as me, right? Mm-hmm. Because they don't buy music in the hood, right? Yeah. If that was the case, I'd be making gangster rap music. I don't make that type of music. So, you know, you just have to, you gotta, you know, find your consumers and, you know, reach them and you know, tell your story truthfully and do something that you're excited about. You know, just make sure your brand reflects that, and people will come. You know, people will come and they'll get excited about that because they'll see you're excited about it. You know, your music will invoke emotion. You know, people will feel some type of way when they hear it, whether it's happy or sad or angry. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just, you know, you touch people. You know, anybody can play a song and, you know, somebody, you know, hear it and say, yeah, this is tight, or I like the beat, I don't like this, or, you know, anybody can make a record. It's very easy to make music, but how many people make music that, you know, that touches people's hearts, or that touches people's minds, or that makes someone forget that they're 2 weeks behind on rent, you know? So I guess my whole thing is to take people on a journey and create art that you know, they can have fun listening to. They can learn from, that inspires them.
We're running out of time right now, but before I go, I always want to ask my guests. I want to ask you, what music are you listening to right now? Who are you digging on?
I listen to lately. It just changes, but Macntaj always. Bootsy, Young Dolph. I like Gucci. If I said already Gucci already?
Nope.
Okay. I like Gucci. I like Young Thug. I like you know, you got Big L, you got Cam. You know, I'm just naming my favorites. But locally, this kid I'm at Billings, or not Billings, Missoula, Montana. Zach James. I like his shit. Ches is the homie. I fuck with Chez's shit out in Billings, Karma Nobi. I like a lot of cats, you know. That's what I'm listening to now, though. So
a little glimpse into Macntaj's Spotify playlist, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to wrap up all the time we have for today's interview. Ladies and gentlemen, please give Macntaj a like, a follow, and most importantly, a listen. The links will be in the description. And if you got no plans tonight, come to the Omni EP release party at Q Nightclub. It's going to be fucking lit. Macntaj, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I just want to thank you for having me come out. This is super cool. A lot of people, you know, they don't do interviews this cool. It's just like, you know, your standard 5 or 6 questions. So I can appreciate the artistry and the thought behind all this. And so thanks for having me out.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Hoppy on Broadway. My name is K-Rad, and until next week, peace.
Maybach music.
Young nigga, young nigga, young nigga, young nigga, young nigga.